I'm Darren.
I'm Derek, and this is the Double D Podcast.
Man, I'm surprised we remembered how to do that.
I know, it's been a while. It's been like 3 months, I think, since we've done a podcast. So
Whoa!
been a while, but hey, we've been real busy people.
Yeah.
And we once again changed the location of the podcast studio, once again back into the smaller room, which I originally emptied out to put into my bigger bedroom, but then I had a bigger bed, so I had to put it back in the small bedroom. So if it's a little echoey, apologies. But
Echo!
not a lot in here, so...
Well, hopefully this helps a little bit.
Yeah, we brought the microphones back. For long-time viewers may notice that we do have the microphones back, so hopefully that will help. Hopefully. But we are here to talk about the Versailles Pumpkin Show. Battle on the Border invaded the Versailles Pumpkin Show on September 28th. Now, September 28th was a very busy day for
You know
all of
what's
us.
funny about that is, though?
What's that?
Because the Middletown show got rained out.
Right.
So we're jumping from promoting the Middletown show to
Versailles.
talking about Versailles.
And ironically, a lot of rain on this show, too.
A lot of rain, but it still went off.
I enjoyed this show a lot, mainly because after the show, like a couple days after the show, like this week, at work on Monday, I had a couple of coworkers come over to me and say, "Hey, I saw something on the Snapchat story at the Pumpkin saying there was wrestling at the Pumpkin Show. Is that you guys?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually it was." So people were locally to us. Versailles is really close. So I actually had some people who were there who don't know that I'm a part of Battle on the Border, that we're a part of Battle on the Border in any way, and who came to me and were like, "Hey, that was you guys?" Like, yeah, it was. So that's really cool. It was a good crowd considering that September 28th was a rainy day.
A very rainy day.
And the show went on because, listen, there's a lot of things you say about Denham on this podcast, which, he tells me a lot about how he does not like how you talk about him. But there's one thing you can't, even you can't deny, and that is that he will do a show at any time possible. He will always try to do a show. Now, Middletown,
even if it's not a good decision.
Extenuating circumstances with the Middletown show, that's a pretty far drive. It was threatening a lot of heavy rain. This was a light drizzle. Annoying light drizzle. So that was something that the fans had to sit through, was the drizzle. We got lucky.
They had trees for protection.
We were underneath the stage.
The wrestlers weren't.
But the wrestlers were not.
They'll say, wait a minute, the wrestlers weren't. We don't fucking matter. The wrestlers and the fans matter.
They got stuck out in the rain. So, shout out real quick to all the performers, everyone who wrestled on the show, Sean Bossman for standing in the rain, all of them for standing out in the rain and being able to do that. Because listen, it's not desirable circumstances. In fact, one of the performers on the show, who we're about to talk about, actually posted that it was his first time wrestling in the rain, which of course it is, right? So it definitely changed the game plans for the wrestlers, I'm sure, going into their matches on what they could do and what they were able to do due to the wet. I mean, you're basically wrestling in a slip and slide.
Oh, yeah.
And if we once played kickball in a slip and slide, and
it's tough.
We fell down a lot. So I can't imagine that it was easier for these guys. But enough of the pretext. By the way, huge shout out to the Lions Club of Versailles for helping BOTB get into the Versailles Pumpkin Show, and we're hoping to go back, I think, every year.
Hopefully.
So,
that'd be pretty cool.
Hopefully better weather, hopefully bigger crowds. Listen, and also huge shout out to the fans who are willing to sit in the rain and watch wrestling.
I hope we start doing weekly shows.
Whoa, weekly shows now. Hold on.
Well, we already got monthly.
Monthly shows.
So might as well ramp it up. That'd be cool.
And September 28th, we had 2 shows.
Yeah, got 2 shows in one day. That felt like a work day.
It really did feel like a work day. I had a really busy day. For just in context, September 28th was the Versailles Pumpkin Show. Then I had my cousin Grayson's 3rd birthday party. Then I had to go to the episode you're going to see next from us, which is of Armageddon. So we had a really busy day. I mean, it was like a 12-hour day of waking up before I got in doing all this work. So, but you know what? It was worth it. I really enjoyed the day. It was a hectic, chaotic day, as always. But hey, it was a hell of a day.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a day.
A lot of work still.
So let's jump into the matches, shall we? So we start off with Gaston Leroux, Mr. By the Book, someone that you have quoted a lot on this show about by the book, and used to. Not so much anymore.
So hold up a second.
Not so much anymore. And you know what's funny is that Gaston Leroux has actually kind of followed, I think you've kind of followed Gaston Leroux in kind of like twisting the book in its words. Now listen, I've never read the book of professional wrestling that he has, but it seems like he started out with like, by the book, we're gonna fight by the rules, and now it's kind of like, well, they're kind of my rules almost. It seems like. And it seems like you've kind of also transitioned into that at the same time. Ironic. You know,
Following a good book.
it is the good book. Well, he was taking on Marion Fontaine.
Never heard of him before.
This was the debut for Marion Fontaine, I do believe, in Battle on the Border. So
I think so.
he is. He did post that it was he's the semi-professional wrestler. So that's a little bit about him. Gaston Leroux, it is a homecoming for him. This is a hometown crowd. So you would think that if he's out in the hometown crowd, he would want to embrace the hometown crowd to give him that edge. Because we talked about it before, how fans do really play a part in like giving a wrestler a little bit of momentum, a little bit of an edge over their competitor. He did the exact opposite. He came out and basically slammed his hometown, said, "I'm the most successful thing to come out of here. You guys," basically, not word for word, but he basically said, "You guys all suck. I'm the best thing to come out of here."
Well,
and
it is Versailles.
Man, see, that's
Let's be honest here.
that's just. I mean, it is what it is. So yeah,
Let's be honest here.
I mean, listen,
Versailles.
I'm not from Versailles. I do go to Versailles quite a bit. And,
Yeah, me too.
It's not a great. I mean, listen, I like Versailles. I love Versailles. Don't listen to him.
I've not had great experiences.
He's trashing Versailles. I like Versailles. It's a great. The state police are in Versailles. So if any state police officers are watching out there, next time you see them, just let them know that you saw this. So any state police officers based in Versailles, slam them.
Good.
On the ground.
Do it.
No, so Gaston Leroux.
I'd be rich.
I said Gaston Leroux from Versailles, but hates being from Versailles, and said he's the best thing to come from Versailles. I wrote Versailles a lot. Then he sang a song.
Surprised you can spell it.
I probably spelled it wrong. I suck at spelling. I've spelled my own name wrong before, so. But no, then he started singing a song called Versailles Sucks, which surprisingly
Should be on the radio.
should I say not surprisingly didn't get a lot of people behind him. A lot of people.
It was pretty good.
Well, I think you were singing along, but most people.
I thought
didn't.
about throwing on a beat for him.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. I really am. Gaston, I also wrote down, was wearing velvet, so that's an interesting choice in the rain. I'm sure that he was.
I was about to say that was probably pretty uncomfortable.
I'm sure he wasn't expecting rain, and then he gets it and is like, "Well, crap." So that's interesting. Hey, shout out to Gaston for being able to do that. But these guys were wrestling all over the place. Because once Marion Fontaine came to the ring, he was ready. He came there to fight. He didn't come there to trash the crowd or even play up to the crowd. He was getting high fives all over the place. He is now all of a sudden basically the hometown hero in this fight.
Yep.
How crazy is that? He's not even from Versailles, and all of a sudden he's like the hometown, or he's like the hero in this fight. Kind of crazy. So he was playing up to the crowd a little bit. They were wrestling all over the Pumpkin Show, including the outside of the ring.
All over the place.
They were throwing each other.
Wild.
And actually, when you think about it, it's very smart for both of the competitors to go outside of the ring. Much more stable surface, not as slippery on the outside. Because that's
I don't know, that asphalt would be pretty slippery too, you'd think.
better than the apron in the ring, though. Or
No,
the canvas in the ring.
Yeah,
So.
being completely rubber.
Right.
That sounds like a shit show.
Yeah, exactly. And it basically was in there. So they're trying their best. But they're like, listen, I don't know who was the first one to decide to go outside. I think Gaston, if I remember correctly. I believe Gaston was the first one that said, let's get out of this ring. He rolled out, Marion followed him, whatever the case may be. They were on the outside, and they were fighting there. Then once it got back into the ring, Gaston was able to get control of the match again. Tried to go for a pin, but he grabbed the ropes. The ref caught him. Shout out to the referee for keeping this by the book. Ha, wink, pun intended. Gaston,
I bled that for about what?
Yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. The kids there were yelling at Gaston. They did not like Gaston. The kids, by the way, shout out to the kids who were at this show because they were very into it. I mean, they were cheering every single fight. They let everyone know who their favorites were, and that's important. Listen, fans, we've talked about it before. If you like someone, you have got to support them because if you support them, that gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
And these fans were not having any of Gaston.
Even if it's loud and squeaky. Gotta support them.
Yeah. Gaston was grabbing Marion Fontaine's hair. I don't know what page of the book that's on, but I'm sure it's on there.
Where's his hair?
Marion Fontaine has hair. What are you talking about?
Where was he pulling on his hair?
I don't remember the exact spot, but I mean,
Okay.
I wrote it down, so it must have happened. I don't write down lies.
Oh, so you write it down, so it's gotta happen. Your book is incorrect. There was no hair pulling.
Okay, well, then later on in the match, near the end of the match, Gaston once again had control of the match, went for a pin, had the ropes once again, but the referee, not listening to it, not having any of it this time, not giving him any more of a warning, kicked the ropes, which caused Gaston to fall backwards. Marion Fontaine took advantage of that opportunity, got the pin, and got the victory. Hometown Kid goes down, but the hero of the match, Marion Fontaine, makes an impressive debut, or at least debut for us in Battle on the Border, and gets a victory over Gaston Leroux. Now,
with the ref's assistance.
Oh, see, I knew this was coming. I even looked at him and said, "Don't even start," because he gave me this look, and I was like, "Don't even start. Save it for the podcast because I don't want to have it." Yeah, but it was a great match back and forth between these two. But listen, I mean, Gaston tried everything, and what I was going to say was, before I was so rudely interrupted, is that Gaston Leroux, since we've been doing these reviews and kind of within the wrestling world, with Battle on the Border, we talked about Gaston a couple times, even with like Cincy Wrestling. We've talked about. Yep. We've seen him wrestle at a lot of places, and he's a fantastic competitor. This is a huge win for Marion Fontaine, and
with assistance.
Okay, sure, if that's what you want to say, but I mean, really, in reality, it was just that he got caught cheating
with assistance.
You can say that, but it was that he got caught cheating. That's the moral of the story, is that he got caught cheating.
You ain't gonna listen to the best wrestler of Battle on the Border. Cheating ain't real.
Who said that? That's what I thought.
Guess.
I don't want to guess. Because I don't want to give you... I'm not playing into your game.
Guess.
But
I don't get to see much anymore.
I know who it was.
Exactly.
I know who it was. All right, I get it.
Maybe you should listen to one of the greatest.
Listen.
He's very inspirational.
He's off wrestling on TV, doing his own thing. Last time he said our podcast sucked.
That's okay.
We're talking about Carson Drake here for those.
That's okay.
And yeah, listen, I don't want to. If you're going to take life advice from Carson Drake, I think that says a lot about you.
I don't know. He's rolling pretty good right now.
Well, he's on TV.
We ain't on TV.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean,
all right,
he must have done something right.
Right, NWA's on CW, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know what channel it's on, but I know it's on TV.
On the CW app, or I think. Either way, the point is he's in NWA, so that means something. I get what you're saying, but listen, whether or not it was by assistance or not, the point is that in the record books, Marion Fontaine got the win. So, assuming that Marion Fontaine is staying in Battle on the Border for a while, maybe this was an impressive debut, so I'm sure Denham would want to keep him around.
I wouldn't hire him back.
Jesus, dude. Why? Because for what reason? He got a win.
With assistance.
Oh, okay, so, all right. Anyway, point is,
I know you didn't slip the ref $1 when he was back here.
Oh, here we go. Conspiracy theories on YouTube, I think, get you banned. So you better watch it.
Make you holler.
You better watch it.
$1 gonna make him holler.
Either way, the point is that Fontaine was able to get the victory. So this getting a win over Gaston Leroux. Point is, with assistance or not, doesn't matter. Point is that this is a big win for Fontaine. This has to go towards something, right? This has to go towards maybe a World Heavyweight title shot, or at least put him into, not necessarily #1 contender, but start putting him into like the rankings, if there were rankings, puts him in the top 10, top 5, whatever. A win over Gaston Leroux is a big win. And for Gaston, who hasn't been about on the border super regularly, I mean, he's still a well-respected person around the area. So I think that getting a win is a huge deal for Marion Fontaine, and a loss really hurts Gaston Leroux.
Now, where do you think he'd be in the future here?
Marion Fontaine?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact...
Got an idea.
I think we're thinking kind of zero gravity.
Yeah,
he kind of
definitely going to zero gravity.
He kind of seems like a zero gravity guy. And I could really imagine him and Jaden Jett, Justin Xavier, who's the current champion. I could see them really doing some magical stuff in the ring. I really could. So
as soon as I seen him come out, because I didn't know who the hell he was.
Right,
first time seeing him come out, I was like, man, zero gravity.
Yeah, and again, we've been hyping up Gaston Leroux here just because we do know him. We've seen him quite a bit, but Marion Fontaine, very impressive, very fun to watch. Comes out to Queen. I'm a big Queen fan.
He's got a cool mustache.
He does an awesome mustache. I've always said that if I could actually grow a mustache, not like lose the middle part of the mustache, that I would have that, but I can't grow a mustache. So I'm a little jealous of Marion Fontaine. Maybe it was. Maybe it was with assistance. Maybe it was a win with assistance. I don't know. Maybe you're starting to turn me, I think. Shout out to Marion Fontaine. Big win. And spoiler alert, in the next episode, he does return to Battle on the Border. Just a reminder.
He does.
The next episode that is going to be up on YouTube after this is the review of Armageddon, which took place the same night. And he is on that show. So make sure you tune in next episode to see what happens to him.
We had the matches in one day, guys, so we couldn't really.
Right. We didn't know.
The second one up.
We didn't know at the time, and now we're trying to like lead you into the next episode. But listen, we have some of the most dedicated and best fans. They don't like our videos or comment, but they watch, and that means a lot.
Sometimes.
Moving on. Next match. Now this one has a lot of history, a lot of story going into this one. In this one, the Versailles crowd, the fans who were there who followed Battle on the Border, because we did have some people who traveled just to the Versailles Pumpkin Show to see Battle on the Border. They know that this is a heated rivalry, but to the fans who didn't know, this is one of the most heated rivalries in Battle on the Border.
And the ones that don't know got a big shock.
Right, the ones that didn't know, they found out pretty quick, and that is Ethan Evans and TJ Fury, who later that night were scheduled to face each other inside of a steel cage. So this was a little bit of a warm-up for these two in a sense of they've already had some encounters in the past. They've had a match with each other in the past. Now we're supposed to have a match with each other in the past. I apologize, they did not, but they were supposed to. So now it's like we're really getting to this. It's boiling over, and this match was a perfect example of that.
And when you get two very talented people in the ring together, that makes for a damn good match. That was my match of the day.
Yeah, it was it was absolutely a great match.
Because even in the wet conditions, they were still doing moves that most people wouldn't even attempt.
Well, that's one of the things that I have written down here is that they are both known to be fearless. They're very
100%.
heavy hitting. TJ Fury's fast. Ethan Evans is surprisingly strong, and I mean that with no disrespect to Ethan Evans. Ethan Evans, when you look at him, you don't necessarily see someone and think like, "Wow, that's someone who like looks really strong," but he is really strong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he was using his strength in this matchup. But before we start that, I wrote down here blood feud. The crowd really loved TJ Fury. Not a huge fan of Ethan Evans. It's hard to like Ethan Evans if you're a normal person. For you, you probably
I
really
find
like
him nice.
I bet you do. That's one of the last words most people use to describe him is nice, considering what he's done in the past with being a part of the Masked Men and
people go down the wrong path every once in a while. Can't judge him off of that.
Well, he's still going down this dark path. I mean, he's made this feud a family-oriented feud because Ethan Evans cutting promos about his family, saying that his family is going to be carrying him out in a body bag, I think was one of the words that he used. Or basically just saying like their family is going to have to say goodbye to you because they're not going to see the same son afterwards. That's not nice. That's not what a nice person says. And that's not what someone who's going down the right path in life says.
Well, when you're about to wrestle somebody, that's pretty much how it goes.
So, listen, I get it. Wrestling is obviously these guys are
very hands-on sport, don't you know?
And they're beating the crap out of each other. I get it, but to take it to that personal of a level, it's always risky, man. Because if you're Ethan Evans, you're taking it to that risky level, and you're able to get into TJ Fury's head. But then you're motivating TJ Fury. That's like the backfire of it, in my opinion. Is that like Ethan Evans now has inspired TJ Fury to try even harder. Now, not that TJ Fury was going to phone it in before, but now he's trying even harder than he was.
Fair enough.
So that's one of the things. And TJ Fury actually said the words, "Keep my family's name out your mouth," which I think was a call to...
We just missed the...
Yeah, very Will Smith inspired. I feel like I
wouldn't take inspiration from him anyways.
Well, hey, he defended his family. If you're looking at it from Will Smith's point of view, he was defending his family. That's exactly what
If you look at it Will Smith's point of view, he's got anger issues.
Well, listen, if
he needs to figure out.
If you're TJ Fury, you have a right to have anger issues, if that's what you want to call it. But the point is, it doesn't matter. This match was great. There was a lot of high-risk moves. Unfortunately, some of the times for TJ Fury, those didn't work out. That's one of the reasons why they're called high risk, high reward.
But at the same time, it was also wet.
And
they're sitting there doing the moves while it's wet.
So, like, one of the moves that he does for those that didn't get to see the show or have never seen TJ Fury wrestle is that I'm not sure what the move's called off the top of my head. I don't want to get it wrong, but he'll run towards the ropes and he'll jump off of it, right? It's a springboard of some kind. So he'd run off to the ropes and jump off of it. Now, in a normal condition of a match where it's dry, he'll be able to hit that faster, smoother. But when it's if it's more wet outside, he has to take a little bit more time. And that gives Ethan Evans more time to recover. Mm-hmm. So Ethan Evans took advantage of that and was able to use his strength against the high risk, high reward moves and was able to take advantage of that. But TJ Fury was still fighting back because he is a fighter. And listen, TJ Fury kind of new to Battle on the Border in the sense of in-ring competition. He's been around Battle on the Border for a long time.
He's been security for a minute.
He's been security, but he's impressed a lot of people. Ethan Evans has too. No disrespect to him. Both of these guys.
Was also security at the beginning.
The masked men were an inside job the whole time. So
ran by somebody that's not even around anymore.
Yeah, I have. We'll get to that when we talk about Armageddon, because that'll come up during Armageddon. The point is, even with the strength advantage that Ethan Evans has, it wasn't enough to keep TJ Fury down. Ethan Evans had to resort to brass knuckles being used. The referee caught him using the brass knuckles. He thought, referee kind of looked away for a second. Ethan Evans thought he had enough time, but he caught him with the brass knuckles, knocked TJ Fury out and down, and the ref caught him. So by disqualification, TJ Fury was able to get the victory. So
I can't defend that one. He got caught red-handed.
Yeah, if you're gonna cheat, don't get caught.
So he got caught red-handed. That's his bad for going too slow. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Or picking the wrong time, or not taking the ref out first. I don't fucking know.
Right. I wrote down here, because if you were at the show, and this is partially my fault, I do apologize, but I wrote down here that Ethan Evans won the match originally, but that is not the case. If brass knuckles were used and Ethan Evans hit TJ Fury with them, TJ Fury was the one that won. I wrote that down. I believe that I have it down wrong here. Either way, point is, brass knuckles were used.
You know, I didn't even see them at first. I was super confused. What the hell was he?
I didn't ring the bell at first. I heard the referee call for the bell, but I was confused because I didn't really see from where we were. I didn't really see the brass knuckles. Yeah. Everything's happening so fast. But that's why the referee's in there. He saw it. He called it. I got confused. I apologize. I rang the bell once I figured out what was going on. I did write down here match of the night. And afterwards, TJ Fury did grab the microphone and basically said, listen, you've been talking a lot of trash about me, but you're getting what's yours tonight at Armageddon. So
then they wrestled again.
Cage match at Armageddon. Make sure you tune in next episode for the Armageddon review. Before we move on, I gotta take a quick little drink. Make sure you don't fill up the dead air. Say something to the people. Thanks. All right, next up is Sergeant Ledbetter.
Oh, I was trying to blow up the dead air.
Oh no, I got what you were doing. It was very funny. I laughed very hard. No, I'm just kidding. It was funny. Here we have Sergeant Ledbetter taking on Bad Country Andrew Williams. I believe it is the first time that we've seen Andrew Williams.
Yeah, definitely new.
Yeah, definitely new. Listen, he kind of looks like Heath Slater, for those that weren't at the show. That comes up.
I don't know who that is either.
He's a former WWE wrestler who was a former tag team champion, a part of Nexus. So he kind of looks like Heath Slater, for those that want a visual. But he was taking on Sergeant Ledbetter. Now, the fans very quickly chose their favorite in this matchup, and that was Sergeant Ledbetter. And
of course they would.
Well, Sergeant Ledbetter, I mean, he is a part of the BOTB. Listen, we've had a rough relationship with Sergeant Ledbetter over time. At first, we were both against him because he kind of called us out. He was against Denham. Then he saw the error in his ways, started helping Denham, started teaming back up with Hooks.
I still think it's just a ploy.
You seem to think there's some... But we have him in our Hall of Fame now, so shouldn't you talk a little bit nicer about him?
I didn't want him there.
That is fair. You wanted someone else. We were talking about earlier. At this point in the show, the fans were the kids, the child fans, the children were all around the ring. They were very invested in what was going on, and they did not like Andrew Williams by any means. And Sergeant Ledbetter realized that Andrew Williams might be a little bit scared of Sergeant Ledbetter. Of course, that's according to Sarge, not according to me, because he started doing the chicken dance. And when he started doing the chicken dance, the fans on the outside started doing it. Andrew Williams was covering his ears. He was paying too much attention to the kids outside. Ledbetter effectively got into Andrew Williams' head very quickly into this matchup. Now, you're somebody who... How do you feel about this? Because Sergeant Ledbetter, apparently you don't like, you're a little suspicious of Sergeant Ledbetter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
What did you think about his tactics there about getting into Andrew Williams' head? Because earlier in the night, we were talking about Ethan Evans and TJ Fury and getting into his head, and you were like, well, this isn't ballet, is essentially what you were saying. Like, you got to get into your opponent's head. How do you feel about it now? Then Andrew Williams all of a sudden was getting it back into.
Still ain't ballet. I mean,
so you think Andrew Williams needed to just try to block it out as best he could?
Buck up and do what you're there to do.
Well,
don't prance around like a little princess.
Well, I wouldn't say prance around like a princess. Hey, listen, it was a good match between these two, back and forth. It was a great match between these two.
Hold on a second. If somebody's going to be yelling at you while you're out there, Wouldn't that inspire you to want to do better?
I think it did. Because
Not when you're sitting there covering your ears.
Well, I think he came out there and he didn't expect it, and then he heard it, and he was just trying to block it out. But he did come back, and he came back with the fire. He got Ledbetter a couple good times. I was about to say, that definitely should inspire you instead of steer you away from it. If that's the case, then you probably should go through wrestling school again. No, he didn't. I'm not saying
and learn.
I'm not saying he just like tucked tail and ran. I'm saying that it got into his head at first, but it did light a fire underneath him. You were there, you saw it. He was getting Ledbetter a couple good times.
He got him, but at first, I don't know what the first reaction he should have. Lunged right at him. Why mid-chicken dance?
No, that would have
because he already let his guard down.
That is a good point. I can't even argue with you there. That's a good point.
That didn't make no sense to me.
So if you're in the ring there, if you're Andrew Williams in that moment, you're attacking.
That should piss you off.
Well, I mean, it did.
That should make you instantly say, "All right, well, you, dude."
Okay, that's a fair point. Honestly, I'm not even going to argue with you there. I
think Ledbetter did a damn good job at what he did.
Wow, there we go. Look at that. At some point in this match, Ledbetter also spanked Andrew Williams. So I wrote that down, that he spanked him. I don't
understand that one either.
Again, I think it's more just it's a humiliation thing. He did the chicken dance with humiliation.
He might as well, if he wasn't going to fight back right away, just went ahead and
Andrew
kicked it
on
back outside.
Back. He did fight back. I'm saying that it wasn't. It's just that it was got into his head.
I'm talking about the timing from then to then to then. Had he took advantage while he wasn't looking and took advantage of him and took him out there, we would have skipped the next action.
So you're saying that
would have turned to...
I see what you're saying. So you're saying that if Andrew Williams would have just not let the chicken dance continue,
yes,
that this would have potentially changed.
That would have changed the whole... That would change all plans.
But once that got it...
But once you let it get to you,
okay,
this part, X. This part, X.
Okay.
You're screwed.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Great match back and forth between these two, but ultimately the winner was Sergeant Ledbetter. So, with Ledbetter getting another victory, we've talked about this before.
He should be venturing towards...
He has to be getting close to Paxton Calloway.
Unless him and Denham have other plans,
right,
like for tag team or something.
And that is the thing, is that Denham is kind of in... I know how this is going to sound, you're going to jump all over it, but let's just... kind of call it. They're in cahoots with each other, right? They're friends. Ledbetter's defending
for now.
Denham.
Yeah.
For now. Okay, sure. So it is one of those things where it's like, like you said, if he has other plans, where it's like, hey, yeah, I have got some wins now. I could technically challenge for the world title, but Paxton's a fighting champion.
Yep.
He's a good champion. It's like, listen, new tag champions just got crowned. Hardcore titles
also
currently.
Really big dudes.
Also very big. But hardcore title at this moment in time is currently vacant. Maybe that's something he looks into. But I'm just saying, he's got enough wins now racked up where it's like one of those things.
I don't think I've seen Ledbetter do a hardcore match yet.
I know he can do hardcore. He is called Hardcore American.
He has done one.
Yeah. So it's
so long ago, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's
been a minute though.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got. He could have even joined the women's if he really wanted to.
Well, okay. Now I see what you're doing there, and I think that's a little insulting. I see what you did there. You walked me right into it. You walked me right into that one. That was a long game plan. Okay. Listen, Ledbetter watches this podcast, obviously, so you're gonna have to answer to him.
He's gonna think that was pretty good.
Oh well, yeah. Honestly, that was kind of good. I can't even lie to you. All right,
but no. In all seriousness, I don't know. I'm looking at either he'd probably go for the tag or heavyweight.
I mean, it's something.
I see him going forward more toward the tag, especially if they keep racking up the wins.
Right.
As a tag team too.
And then as far for Andrew Williams, I think you kind of hit on a point here. I do kind of agree with you here, where I think that, and Andrew Williams I do believe this was the first time he's wrestled in Battle on the Border. Could be wrong about that. I do believe it was though. Mm-hmm. I know he's wrestled other places. He's a well-respected guy around the area. For some reason, though, maybe it was the weather. Maybe it was the fact it was Sergeant in there. Maybe the fact that there was 30,
maybe it was the rain. It was wet and he had jeans on.
He did have jeans on.
That would piss me off. In fact, that would have made me want the match because it would have pissed me off so fucking bad that my jeans were wet and I would have got it over with.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm not agreeing with you. And then 30 kids outside also doing the chicken dance. Listen, I'm not passing any judgment on Andrew Williams. I'm not an in-ring competitor, so I don't know what goes on in his head. But what I will say is that I do think you do have a solid point, is that moving forward, he's going to have to expect in Battle on the Border certain people. If they watch that match and they've seen that they can get into his head that quickly.
Oh, they're going to do it every
They're
time.
going to do it every time. So that's
And stuff gets filmed.
Right. So that's a very solid point. I can't even argue with you. I do believe, actually, shout out to Kevin Tice.
Yeah, he live streamed
this whole thing. So shout out to Kevin Tice. Very nice guy. I've gotten to know him over the past couple of weeks. He's a very, very good guy, and he's a huge Battle on the Border fan.
And if you're if you're on the Battle on the Border Brigade, you can get videos.
Yeah, he created a really nice slideshow for Armageddon, which we'll talk about next episode. It was a very nice slideshow, so shout out to him for live streaming this. But the point is, I get what you're saying. So Andrew Williams, I don't know if he's watching, but if you are, Darren does have a good point. You kind of have to listen. Talented.
Oh,
Andrew Williams, very talented,
yes.
But
he missed opportunities.
I get what you're saying. You know what? You should try to get in contact with Andrew Williams and try to be his manager a little bit. Although later on,
I ain't trained for that.
We do see we do see Andrew Williams later on.
We do. So, the same day.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
Let me rephrase that. The same same show.
Yeah.
So there was 2 shows. The same first show, we see him later on.
No. We saw him at the second show again.
We see him at the same show.
Okay, yeah.
Again.
You are right also. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. We also saw him in the second show, was my point.
Maybe it was a good idea we got this thing over with. Shit.
Well, listen, hey, we got another show coming. In reality, breaking the fourth wall here. We're actually recording this the day before.
Don't tell him that.
We're recording this the day before the Farmers Fair.
So if you were at Farmers Fair, it was good seeing you.
Great show. Shout out to you guys. So we're trying to get this done before we have so many wrestling matches in our head that we can't remember which was where. So that's a good point. It's a good thing we got this done. All right, moving on. Benjamin Kamara and Paxton Calloway take each other on for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now,
which I'm going to tell you right now, right off the rip. There ain't no way in hell I'm getting in the ring with either of these 2 dudes.
Let me tell you something about these 2 dudes.
Now, no way in hell.
Benjamin Kamara, I do know this for a fact, made his Battle on the Border debut. But he is not someone who is new. All right, Benjamin Kamara is one of the most respected wrestlers in the Ohio area. He has a show on ESPN.
I would say, hell, not even just that, just in professional wrestling.
Yeah, he is one of these guys who, and listen, I'll give him this. He talked very highly of Battle on the Border, despite the fact that I'm not a huge fan of his tactics. I'm sure you are. Not a huge fan of his tactics. He did say that Battle on the Border is one of, if not the, he said the, and I agree with him here, but I'm trying to be a little impartial.
Right.
The best, I'll say it, the best show in southeastern Ohio, southwestern Ohio. If I knew my geography, I would get that right. Southwestern Ohio and in southeastern Indiana. It's one of the best in the tri-state area. It is the best in the tri-state area. And he said that the Battle on the Border World Heavyweight Championship is something that he wants. It's highly coveted on his list, and he wants to rise through the rankings. However, he gets a shot right away at Paxton Calloway, and I see why.
Looking at his history?
Right, exactly.
He should have the red carpet straight to the championship.
Well, listen, if you're Denver, all right, Paxton Calloway, later on that night, whoever wins this match has to take on Brandon Day.
Yes.
Right? That's one of the things that we'll kind of reveal now. That is a match that happens later on. So whoever wins this match moves on to that. But even before this point, you look at the people Paxton Calloway's taken on for that world title. They're all big dudes. They're all guys who could have beaten him. I mean, Paxton, listen, he is looking on indestructible right now. He's looking unbeatable. Let's just be honest.
7 foot tall.
7 foot tall. He has Bobby Fulton on his side. He has the crowd on his side. He's looking unbeatable.
I don't know how many times. Why we haven't seen him lose very much.
Since he's had the world title, he's even won a tag match. So I mean,
without an official tag partner.
Right, it was Justin Xavier who was his tag team partner. Unofficial tag team gets a victory over a real tag team, and they looked great with each other. Paxton's on a roll. 2024. If there is a Wrestler of the Year award to give out in Battle on the Border, my personal vote goes to Paxton.
He has got it.
He's been a fantastic world champion and a fighting world champion. He stepped up every time. Last time he was supposed to take on Carson Drake. Then it became a 2-on-1 match where if the winner won, Carson won the title. He's taken on
something
Iron
about
Shane
Carson
Mercer.
was injured too, and on top of it.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's taken on any and all comers, and now Benjamin Kamara comes in, and Benjamin Kamara is no slouch of a competitor. This is one of, if not the toughest. And this is saying something about Benjamin Kamara when you look at the roster of people that Paxton Calloway's taken on. This is one of the toughest matches Paxton has.
Oh, hands down. Especially when you don't know the guy.
Right.
You get done with the match and you look him up.
Right. And then you look him up and you're like,
holy shit.
right. So, I mean, this guy's a big deal.
Well,
and
I didn't know who he was, and everybody was talking about him like he's, super popular and stuff. I'm like, huh, okay. That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
I looked it up, I'm like, huh?
Yeah. So
Are you kidding me?
this is a big deal for Paxton and for Benjamin. And just a little bit about Benjamin that I wrote down here. He's from Detroit, huge Lions fan.
He's got a wiki.
He has a Wikipedia, so that means...
He's got a wiki.
I wrote down here that he weighs 330 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I don't know off the top of my head how much Paxton weighs, but
They
that has
said
to be very...
7 foot 400, right?
400. So, I mean, that's kind of close in weight and in size. And Benjamin's a very big dude. And listen, another thing about this, when Paxton comes out with that world title, he's ready for business. I think in his head, he knew when he saw that this matchup was on the card, he knew that he probably did a little research.
Oh,
Paxton's
100%.
not a stupid guy.
You got to prepare for that kind of
He
stuff.
knows who he's going against. He's going to do some research. He's going to figure it out. And he came in and he was ready to fight. So much so that when the match started, Benjamin Kamara, someone who does have a Wikipedia, who's been a wrestler for a long time, wrestled some really great people, he slid out of the ring and said timeout. Now, that's a strategic move by Benjamin Kamara because he knew Paxton Calloway was going to try to come right at him. He's like, let's go by my pace because world champions usually defend or usually wrestle at their pace because they make you or make them come to you rather because you're the champion. But Paxton's not that guy. Paxton, he's going after you. He wants to get that victory because he could potentially, either of these guys could potentially have a match later on that night with Brandon Day, who's on a roll himself. So a lot of, Paxton, they want to get this done quick. But Benjamin Kamara also wants to be smart. The crowd hated Benjamin Kamara, which fair enough. I mean, he was not making himself very likable.
No.
He made himself very well known that he was not super happy to be. He was not super happy to be in Versailles.
I don't blame him.
Okay, and then he. Okay, that's fine. But I wanted to get your opinions about this because Paxton did eventually. They went out on the outside of the ring, and at some point, Paxton actually had Benjamin Kamara's arms held back and invited a child to hit Kamara. How did you personally feel about that?
That's child endangerment.
Oh, I didn't think you were going there. Oh, wow, that's a big claim there. You want to make sure that's what you want to go with. I mean, Denham was standing right there.
Child endangerment.
Okay, that's a huge claim. That's something that we might have to move on from. Because I think I thought you were going to go with like the outside interference. You're going to the law. You're saying there's a law.
You have a little kid come up to a big ass dude and hit him.
Well, he got in the kid's face. To be fair, the kid was just getting theirs back.
All he had to do was go dead.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. We're done here. All right. Moving on.
It's true.
I didn't expect that. Okay. All right. Let's calm down. We won't have any time match here, right? You are correct though in that sense, but yes. So the fans were on Paxton Calloway's side,
as they always are for some reason.
Well, fighting champion.
You're a living legend getting in the ring, and Paxton Calloway.
Two big men inside that ring.
Two big men slapping meat. Isn't that you're saying?
That's what I say. Two big men slapping meat. And it was a great match, a lot of back and forth action here. But ultimately, the winner was Paxton Calloway. He does defend successfully once again his world title, and he gets a match later on. Unfortunately, I think kind of for Paxton Calloway, in a way, that he has to defend it once again later on that night.
That kind of sucks.
Someone like Brandon Day.
Yeah.
But either way, point is he got the victory, defended the title successfully yet again, and will face Brandon Day at Armageddon. So we know what Paxton's future is as far as being a world champion. But Benjamin Kamara, what do you think's next for him? Now we know, but let's pretend we don't know. At this moment in time, when you see him lose at this moment, what's your thought of like, well, what's next for him in Battle on the Border?
Well, obviously he's going to...
I think he wants another shot at Paxton.
He does, but I don't know.
Or whoever the world champion is. Right?
I'd imagine he's probably going to take on a few odd matches.
Well, I'll give him this.
Kind of get the flow going.
I was going to say, as a little bit of a spoiler into his mindset, because we do know, these shows happen the same day, he does say later on that he wants to work through the rankings. So I'll give him this. He's coming in with the right mindset. I'm not a huge fan of the antics with the cheating and timeouts and all this.
Oh, that's timeout, man. Timeout.
But what I will say is that he is at least working through the rankings, and that's respectable because he did get a title match his first shot. But once he lost, he didn't go on and say like make excuses. He said, "I'm working through the rankings." So we do know what's next for him. What's next for him is that he's actually going to be taking on somebody from earlier on in the show, and that is Marion Fontaine. So at Armageddon, we have two matches that were kind of like spoiling for you here, not really, but it's Marion Fontaine taking on Benjamin Kamara and then Brandon Day and Paxton Calloway.
And I gotta say, I mean,
Ethan Evans and CJ Fury.
We'll get more into it later on, but there's a size difference. A hell of a size difference.
Oh, yes, between Benjamin Kamara and Marion Fontaine, yes. Well, we talked earlier about Marion Fontaine being zero gravity, and you just said that Benjamin Kamara would have killed a child if he landed on them. So that shows you there's a size difference. And I said 330 pounds, so... all right, moving on to the main event, which is a women's title match.
The women's title match.
And that is Shawna Reed, I thought you were going to say something there, versus Lucy B. Sweet. Now, this is where Andrew Williams reappears.
Yeah.
That was my bad. See, I was talking later on, so he does reappear, so Lucy B. Sweet does have the manager of Andrew. Now, listen, kind of a good, when you think about it from Lucy Sweet's point of view, Lucy Sweet did have Andrew Williams, who was out there earlier on, and he lost.
Yeah.
He knew, like you said, that he probably got back there and was like, why did I let him get in my head that quick?
Yeah.
So he probably went back to Lucy B. Sweet and said, hey, don't let Shawna get into your head.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Lucy B. Sweet and Andrew Williams, the fans really loved Shawna Reed. They really wanted Shawna Reed to win.
Yeah.
And they were really giving it to Andrew Williams once again. And they were really giving it to Lucy B. Sweet once again. And Lucy B. Sweet, listen.
They're going to learn, ain't they?
Lucy B. Sweet would imply that she is what? Sweet.
Yes.
However, we've kind of seen a little bit of a turn in her. And I don't know if this is because she started hanging around Andrew Williams. I don't know if this is... Because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, and I might be. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I believe the last time we saw Lucy B. Sweet, she said that there was a potential that her and Bashley Bones would be a tag team together. And now all of a sudden, she's been hanging around this Andrew Williams character, who I'm starting to think is a little shady. And now she has this attitude change where she's a little bit edgier. And she has this, like, get out of here to the crowd kind of feel.
Maybe she asked nicely and she said no.
I don't even know what that means. I'm not really sure what that means.
Like to be a tag team. Maybe she asked nicely. And
I
she
see
said
what you're
no.
saying. You're saying that Bashley. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I've noticed that too.
But she does have this attitude change. And listen, Shawna Reed, new champion. It's her third time being champion. And to get a little personal, just because I feel like Shawna Reed has not shied away from this. She recently lost her father.
Yep.
So, to Shawna, I'm so sorry for your loss, and coming back to Battle on the Border for the first time since, I'm sure racked up a lot of feelings, and I'm sure that was a very difficult moment. But hey, Shawna had her father in her corner for this matchup, and she didn't really necessarily need the crowd. She had her father in her corner.
She's got the talent.
And she has the talent, and she's a worldwide talent. I mean, she's over in I believe the last time I saw that she was like the UK women's champion for something over there.
Like that.
So
I can't remember.
She's wrestling all over the place. She's someone who I truly believe still has a lot of time left in her career. I think she could be on TV. She's that talented.
Oh yeah,
I truly believe. And listen,
I'm surprised she isn't already.
I believe that with everybody on this list. I mean, everybody who's on Battle on the Border is talented enough where they could be a huge star one day. But Shawna Reed, I think, stands a league above the rest, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a reason she's defended her championship and won it back like every time.
Right. And listen, Lucy B. Sweet, kind of an up and comer, kind of a newer talent to Battle on the Border. She's had some victories, she's had some losses. This is a big opportunity for her because Lucy B. Sweet with this new attitude change, I think it's smart. The women's division in Battle on the Border has grown.
Yes.
A lot. And to have an alliance with someone like a Bashley Bones, or just throwing names out there, a Shawna Reed or a Casey Clay, not that those were things that would happen, but just or a Storm Garcon, to have those would be nice. But then, if you rise through the ranks together, then you have to fight each other.
Yeah.
If you're by yourself and you rise through the ranks or become champion by beating Shawna Reed in the main event of Versailles Pumpkin Show, you don't really need. All those ladies they're going to turn their back on you. Is my point.
Oh yeah.
All those ladies would turn their back on Shawna. Doesn't have a lot of friends in the women's division. You know why? Because they all want her title.
Because she good.
They want her title. So probably smart in a way from Lucy B. Sweet to not have a tag team with somebody, because they would just look at her as extra competition anyway.
Oh yeah.
And having Andrew Williams by your side definitely doesn't hurt.
Well.
Well, okay, all right. Well.
Well.
Fantastic match between these two, though. Obviously, Shawna Reed, super talented. Lucy B. Sweet, also very talented. The kids were super on Shawna's side. The fans were on Shawna's side. They wanted Shawna to win, and Shawna was able to get the victory in this matchup and defeated Lucy B. Sweet for the title. Now, we personally know what's next for Shawna, but we'll keep that. Well, actually, it was announced. So the winner of this matchup was going to go against Paris McQueen at Armageddon. So now that is Shawna Reed versus Paris McQueen at Armageddon. What's next for Lucy B. Sweet, though? And again, we know.
I don't know, but we skipped over a part there.
Well, what was the part? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he's back. Oh, shoot. You left for this.
Yeah. A little inside baseball here. I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, I left right before this match started because I had a birthday party to get to, and I was already running a little late, so I unfortunately left before this matchup.
That
but you filled
sucks
me. You filled me.
Because I don't know the detail to detail, but we'll just cut it short. There was stuff going on.
Okay, that's important.
Ledbetter comes out.
Wait a minute. What's going on?
From the back.
Oh my gosh.
To assist Shawna Reed.
So you're telling me that Andrew Williams was getting involved in this match with these shenanigans, and Ledbetter comes out to make the save?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me this before just now?
And all the while, they're in the ring wrestling. Them two are
On the outside, like, oh my gosh.
And Ledbetter picks up a ratchet strap.
What is going on?
A freaking ratchet strap.
Okay.
And hits him in the back.
Oh,
with the ratchet strap.
That's going to hurt.
Twice.
Oh.
All the while, they're having their match in
So
the ring.
Lucy B. Sweet, Shawna, fighting each other in the ring. They're clawing each other. They're hitting each other. They're fighting for that title. And on the outside, Ledbetter's taking on Andrew Williams.
Again.
Again?
Yeah.
Again? So that's why you said that. Okay, well, see, that makes sense.
I forgot you left. That was awesome.
Yeah, see, again, I apologize. I left early because I had a party to get to. I was already running late to, and
I don't know which match was more entertaining. It was so hard to
the match
focus.
on the inside. Right, you were watching both. Like, what's going on?
You're watching over here, because you got to ring the bell. Watching over here, watching over there, watching over here, watching over.
Well, there you go.
You felt like you needed to ring the bell for both of them,
right?
At that point.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it. I apologize. I did not realize all that extra stuff was going on.
But I was just surprised to see him coming running out the back to assist.
Well, listen,
and
again,
start beating the snot out of him on the
this
outside
is what
of the ring.
we were talking about this earlier about Sergeant Ledbetter. He is someone he's defending the honor, and if he felt that Andrew Williams was getting involved, all these shenanigans going on in the ring with Lucy B. Sweet, of course he's going to come out and say, "Listen, if there's something fishy going on, he's going to help out."
Oh yeah, and I don't remember the exact details of what he was doing. I just remember looking over and
you just saw
Ledbetter was running out from behind,
using the ratchet straps, and man,
he grabbed the ratchet strap off the trailer.
Oh, I know. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
because they were over there for a while, and you see.
All right. Well, hey. Well,
all the while, Ledbetter was getting a kick out of the whole thing.
Right. Of course he was. Of course he was. All right. Well. Okay. So, knowing that now that I know that, I apologize for leaving that out. What do you think is next for Lucy B. I feel like if you're Andrew Williams and Lucy B.
You ain't gonna be coming out with any ratchet straps anytime soon.
I'll tell you that. You might want to get a little bit of revenge on Ledbetter.
Oh, 100%.
And if you're Lucy B. Sweet, you got to be thinking like, hey, Ledbetter's stealing my shine, trying to. What does this have to do with Ledbetter? If you're Lucy B. Sweet, that's your thought process.
Yeah.
And you also have to think that Lucy B. Sweet and Andrew Williams probably had to plan a little bit. Like they had a plan. Like, here's how we get a victory over Shawna. We have the numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
That numbers game goes away all of a sudden. Now you're confused. Ah, man. That's great.
Then you're taking shots in the dark.
I mean, I tell you what. So, listen. So, all right, we know what's next for Lucy B. Sweet, and we'll break once again the fourth wall a little bit. She will actually be wrestling once again at Armageddon. She will be taking on Bashley Bones, which is the person who I thought there was a little bit of a formation between the two against. Because if you remember, I do believe they fought each other the last time we saw a Battle on the Border event, and I believe there was mutual respect, and now all of a sudden there's not, and we'll get into that at the Armageddon review. But what a show for Versailles. It was our first time in Versailles. Once again, thank you to the Versailles Pumpkin Show, the Lions Club of Versailles for helping us put this on. It was an absolute honor to be there, and we will want to be there next year. We want to make this a yearly thing. I can speak for Battle on the Border on that just because I've heard Denham talk to people about how much he loved the show, and the crowd, the energy was great. And listen, to all the competitors, once again, to all the fans, the competitors, the referees, announcers, us, everyone who was out there in the rain, toughened through it. Shout out to those people for doing that because it was a fantastic. I mean, listen, we said this was going to be a shorter episode. We were talking earlier.
Yeah, no kidding.
This will probably end up being a shorter episode just because Versailles. But look, we're running into an hour here.
Well, there's a lot that went on.
There was a whole lot that went on. This was a great show. Wow, looking back on
5 matches.
Yeah, looking back on it, and
you got 2 hours, 5 matches.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 2 hours.
And
I say if we cover at least half of it, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and again, listen, for those who do watch our show, we sometimes we talk about things that happen, but again, we're not here necessarily to give a play-by-play. Right?
No,
If you want to see the
watch.
action, you got to be there.
Otherwise, we'll be sitting here annoying you guys for 2 hours, 3 hours, just talking
breaking
about
down the whole match, right? So hey, but you know what? Fantastic show. It went out. It went off without a hitch, even with the rain, even with the weather. And then the show was great. So shout out to everybody who made it possible. Next episode that you will see will be a review of Armageddon. And then the next episode that you will see after that could potentially be an interview with a certain somebody. We won't give any details who about that is, but it'll be a furious rage of episodes coming up next. We have a lot of episodes.
And then
planned.
another review.
Yeah, so
you got 3, counting this one, 3 reviews.
3 reviews and an interview.
Possible interview.
Possibly 2. So got a lot of
Maybe
stuff
even
going.
3.
Maybe even 3. We've been talking to some people. We took that 3-month break. You think that we were just sitting around?
Nah, we were going
learning
work.
stuff. Work. You know, so we can't do that on YouTube. That'll get us a copyright strike.
Nah, we ain't gonna get paid.
I sound just like
quit.
Rihanna. I quit. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, hit the bell notification so when we do upload, you get the notification on your phone or your tablet or your laptop, whatever it is, so you know when we upload.
Even your iPod Touch.
I don't know if iPod Touch has YouTube. Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, I got YouTube.
Sorry. Well, who uses iPod Touches anymore?
I don't know.
Somebody
I'm sure out there uses an iPod Touch for something.
You can follow me on Twitter at DJDub00. I tweet about wrestling and other things on there sometimes. You can also follow us on TikTok, the Double D Podcast 1 on TikTok, or Instagram, the _D_podcast on Instagram. You have anything to say?
I'm wearing my Double D Podcast shirt.
We do have a Double D Podcast shirt. Not for sale, but
no.
we have one.
But we've never mentioned, I don't think, that we have Double D Podcast shirts.
I'm wearing a Matthew Taylor shirt.
Anyways, we've got a Facebook. It's Double D Podcast. Something. I don't know. I don't even post on it, so I don't even know why I'm saying it.
You're a really great salesman.
We have an email, doubledpodcast123@gmail.com. You can email us any ideas you want, and we can consider it. I ain't going to say we'll do it, because we don't get nothing, so how am I supposed to know?
Right. We got
if you just love me, you can go on down there and click the link tree, because Doofus has finally added my Snap into the link tree.
I do. It's down in the comment section below. It's not on the link tree, but I do have it in the comment section below.
All right, it's in the comment section.
So, but all right, there you go. So next time we see you guys will be a review of Armageddon. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time.